Hello boys and girls, children of all ages, and welcome to the Australian Grand Prix here at Albert Park in Melbourne. We are here for a wet qualifying session here at the 3 kilometre track. We've got 24 laps to go doing the race. The race appears to be looking dry from current forecasts, so anyone who's risked the wet setup in qualifying, let's hope they've got their wall of car ready. So, for the record, Alonso's lost another wheel. Lazy's taken pole position 140.6, but there's still a long way to go in qualifying. The Sauber of Kimi Raikkonen is up high. Mazzaccane's managed to put himself onto pole position, but the order is forever changing. Mazzaccane's taken his old provisional pole time. He's currently half a second quicker than Damon Hill. De La Rosa just popped himself into second place. I don't think Mazzacane has another lap to go. He has maybe one more. Might be able to do one more lap. Ralf Schumacher's popped himself into 12th. Button is on pole position by 0.3 seconds at the moment. Got Barrichello 13th, Schumacher 12th, Alonso 11th, Schumacher 10th. Raikkonen 9th, Diniz 8th, Pani 7th, Fisichella 6th, Lazy 5th, Hill 4th, De La Rosa 3rd, Mazzacane 2nd, Jensen Button on pole position, Heinz Frenton's put himself into 10th place. Someone else has just improved. I think it was Lazy. Lazy has just improved, or maybe Fisichella. One of the Renaults has improved. Panis has put himself into 6th place as well. De La Rosa's used up all of his laps. There's 10 minutes left. A lot of the top 10 have used all their laps. So it looks like it's going to be a Button pole. Mazzacane 2nd, De La Rosa 3rd, Hill 4th, Lazy 5th, Pani 6th, Fisichella 7th, Diniz 8th, Raikkonen 9th, Frenton 10th. Schumacher is in 11th place for the Ferrari, Coulthard 12th, Webber 13th in the Sauber, 2 seconds behind Jensen Button. How many of these are going to be on a dry setup though? That remains to be seen. Alonso's 14th, Schumacher 15th, Barrichello 16th, Hakkinen 17th, Sato 18th, Alex Young 19th, and Juan Pablo Montoya is bringing up the rear of the field here at the Albert Park circuit in Australia, Melbourne. This signifies the end of, we are 3/4 of the way through the season. 4 more races to go after this. We go back to Europe for Germany. Then we go to Belgium. And then we've got France and Germany again for the final 2 races. They are under starters' orders, and away they go! It looks like a fantastic start from one of the arrows. It looks like France has done a fantastic start. Button has not been jumped by Mazzacane. Button keeps holding the lane. Mazzacane is in 2nd place. De La Rosa's in 3rd. Mazzacane 2nd. De La Rosa 3rd. Hill's in 4th. It looks like Panis is in 5th. Looks like the Renaults are 6th and 7th. Frenton looks like he's put himself to 8th place from 10th. It's a good start from the arrows. It's a lazy Fisichella. Frenton is in 8th. Raikkonen 9th. Diniz. The Schumacher's 10th. Diniz 11th. Ralf Schumacher looks like he's making a move on Coulthard for 13th. And he's made a move stick. Ralf Schumacher 13th, Coulthard 14th, Webber 15th, Hakkinen 16th, and the 2 Minardis behind. Looks like 2 stalled. It was. Oh, hello. So Barrichello. Oh, hang on. That's both the Toyotas are out. Both Toyotas out. Alonso and Montoya are both out, and Barrichello looks like he's been caught up in that as well, and he's also out. So we've had 3 retirements. This is what happened. So Barrichello has literally just drove into the back of Alonso. Alonso stalled on the grid. Barrichello tries to take avoidant action, couldn't, and Montoya just goes straight into the back of him, and he also retires. So 3 retirements, both Toyotas already out, and so is Barrichello. Button has put himself into the lead. He's already established quite a bit of a lead over Mazzacane at the moment. 1.7 seconds the lead between the two of them. Then we've got De La Rosa in third, 24 laps here for the Australian Grand Prix. Matsukane and De La Rosa second and third. The Jaguar team looking to bounce back from their poor starts, and he looks like he's going down the inside of Matsukane, but he's not been able to make the move stick. Matsukane looks to be being a rear gunner for Button, unless De La Rosa has managed to outbrake him. It's a little touch. Matsukane's gone for a spin, and Hiller's also gone past as well, so De La Rosa has taken out Matsukane a little bit. Fourth now is the BAR. Bit naughty from De La Rosa, but that means he can be on his merry way. Hill third in the Jordan. Fourth place Matsukane. Fifth Panis. Sixth Lazy. Seventh Fisichella. Eighth Frentzen. Panis looks to be going to try and go down the inside. Matsukane going to the first corner, but he's not close enough. Lazy, Fisichella, Frentzen, Schumacher, Raikkonen. Schumacher's made a move on Diniz. Keep going down the grid. Sato is in last, 17th. Young 16th. So both Minardis are in the back of the grid. Let's not jinx anyone this race. I promise not to jinx anyone this race. Button has a 4-second lead over De La Rosa. He looks to be pulling away at the right rein, and not to the moment. De La Rosa still going to try and bite the effort into trying to catch up to Button. But Button leads. De La Rosa second. Bit of overcast conditions, but we are told that there is no rain forecast for the race. De La Rosa second in the Jaguar. Hill in behind, 2 seconds the gap between Hill and De La Rosa. The podium currently. Schumacher has smoke coming from the engine. It's Michael Schumacher has smoke coming from his engine. So that's both Ferraris out. So both Ferraris and both Toyotas are out of the race. Button leads. 4.1 seconds the gap between Button and De La Rosa. Third place is Damon Hill. Then we have Matsukane, Panis, Lazy, Fisichella, Frentzen, Raikkonen, Ralph Schumacher in 10th. They are your top 10 at the moment. 11th is Diniz, 19 seconds. And then he's got a bit of a train behind. Hakkinen, Webber, Young, Sato, Coulthard as well is in 12th. We've gone board with Ralph Schumacher. There's the gap between Ralph Schumacher and Diniz. It's 3 seconds the gap, 4 seconds the gap. Coulthard, 12th place, both the McLarens. Stuck behind Diniz at the moment. Webber in the Sauber, 14th. Contrasting times for the two Saubers. One of the Saubers is in the top 8. The other Sauber, 14th, stuck in a little bit of a train. Then we have the two Minardis of Young and Sato, 15th, 16th. Bringing up the rear of the field. Button being caught slightly from De La Rosa's. 3.7 the gap as to go to the final 2 corners. 2 tight corners. Well, one tight corner, the other corner is sort of flat out. And Sato is stuck in gear. Lazy's going down the inside of Panis. Is he going to make that move stick? Round the outside? No, he goes back behind Panis. There is Sato. Stuck in third. He's going to be our already 5th retirement in the race. Slowly into the pits goes the Minardi. Into retirement. So 2 Ferraris, 2 Toyotas, 1, and Hakkinen is down into 15th place. And everyone's trying to pass Coulthard and they're being spun slightly by Coulthard. I presume Hakkinen tried to pass Coulthard and is now stuck behind Young. David Coulthard is in 12th place in the McLaren. Webber's hassling him left to right, trying to pass Coulthard. But Coulthard has built a wall around that McLaren, making sure that no one can pass him. There's the gap to the top 10. You can just see them come off screen now. Round the fast left towards the fast left-right chicane. Taking in gear 3, 2. The leaders could do it in gear 3. That was very close. Very close. Webber might be going down the inside of Coulthard here. Oh, he's lifted slightly. I don't think he's going to do the risk now. No, he isn't. If he hadn't lifted, that would have been a perfect overtaking opportunity for him. Pedro de la Rosa with the fastest lap of the race. Coulthard's in 12th. Diniz 11th. There is Pedro Diniz. Ralf Schumacher in 10th place. Lap 4. Lap 5 now. Looking left, looking right. Trying to pass Kimi Räikkönen in the Sauber. 9th place Kimi Räikkönen. 8th place Heinz-Harald Frentzen in the Arrows. Fisichella 7th. Alesi going down the inside of Panis. No, he isn't. Linus Dern with 2 BARs. 2 Renaults. Oh, Alesi kick of oversteer there. Oh, that's getting tight. Oh, Alesi's gone wide. Fisichella has just passed him. Is Frentzen going to pass him as well? Yes, he is. Well then, Alesi went completely wide round turn 5 and he's let Fisichella and Frentzen go through. Now Raikkonen's going to be putting the pressure on the French Sicilian. So if there's Frentzen in 7th, Fisichella 6th, Panis 5th and Mazzacane is in 4th place. Hill is 11 seconds down the road. De La Rosa 8 seconds down the road from Hill. They've already pulled out a significant gap. McLaren already in the pits. 2 seconds, 2.7 seconds. De La Rosa is catching Button at a rate of knots here. 136.5 with the fastest lap. 24 laps. We're on lap 6 out of that. We're looking at the two stoppers stopping between lap 6 to lap 9 and 1 stoppers between, we presume, 11 and 14. The 2 stoppers might push it to lap 10 to do a 10-20 4-lap sprint, or they do 10-8 6-lap sprint. But through the chicane goes Pedro de la Rosa. Accelerating now through the gears. Gear 5, 6, up towards 300 kilometers an hour before braking. Gear 3, for the left, right. A little bit of a lift around the right, down, next straight towards the double right-hander. Difficult to get these corners right. There goes the first right, negotiated beautifully. Second right, gear 4, slightly quicker than the first right, and then have the second slowest corner on the circuit. Left and right arrows are ready in the pits. Down the pitch straight to start lap 7. Arrows are ready in the pits. The arrows are ready. Not ready in the pits. He's in a 136 dead. Hill 138 dead. Someone has lost their rear wing. There's been an incident between Ralf Schumacher and Raikkonen. Raikkonen's blown the engine. And Ralf Schumacher's out as well. There's Schumacher. What has happened here then? So going towards the fast right hand, and I think Ralf Schumacher has had a brake failure, and Raikkonen and Webber's just collected that front wing. I think Schumacher's had a brake failure and Raikkonen has been the unlucky soul in the incident and is out. Here we go, and yet that's all the makings of a brake failure. at least the front wing was returned nicely. So there's another 2 retirements. There's 13 left in the race now. 13. Raikkonen is running incredibly well. Now the top 8 has been joined with... No, actually, no. The top 8's now got a huge gap to Diniz because Diniz is in 9th. We're on board with... Jenson Button is 1.8 seconds still being reeled in by Pedro de la Rosa in the Jaguar. Heavy braking towards the double right-hander of turns 12 and 13. There is Raikkonen and Schumacher. I'm not going to bother cleaning them up. If anyone goes off around that corner, it's their own fault. If they want to try and collect them, it's their own fault. Zaba ready in the pits. It's going to be for Mark Webber. 1.5, 1:35.4 for Pedro de la Rosa. Another fastest lap of the race. He's just bringing that fastest lap down, down, down. Trying to catch Jenson Button up. There's a 15-second gap between Button and Hill. And then there's another 11-second gap between Hill and 4th placed man, which I still believe is Matt Takane. There might actually be more. It's 18 seconds. Frenton's back down in 8th. He's been overtaken by a lazy. Diniz is actually catching the top 8. Diniz 9th. Coulthard 10th. 11th is Alex Young. Jordan already in the pits. And Jaguar. So Button and De La Rosa are both going into the pits at exactly the same time. Not sure who this will please more. Especially with the fact that Jaguar is catching Button quite quickly here. I think this is going to advantage the Jaguar more. Because if Button had the overcut, I don't think De La Rosa would be able to win this race. But they're pitting at the same lap. They might be able to win this race here. Now this pit lane quite long because of this precarious chicane. But they're both into the lead. Both into the lead, both into the pits. Jaguar's first. But he's messed that up so badly. There goes Hill into the lead. There's a huge gap now to Matt Takane. De La Rosa's fueled quite heavily. Is he going to be in front of Button? Button's still in the pits, so Button has lost out to De La Rosa. But does that mean a Button is heavier on fuel? We shall soon see. Matt Takane is coming down the pit lane now. He's nowhere near Button, so second and third have managed to get in front of Matt Takane here. Hakkinen has retired. I'm not even sure where that is. I think that is 7-8. Or that might actually be 15. Either way, Mika Hakkinen is out. So we are down to 12 cars left. We've had 7 retirements in the first 9 laps. Well, I hope you were ready for action. Oh my god, that's another retirement! That's Young retiring from 11th. We've had 8 retirements now. Oh, I've jinxed the Minardis. I told them they were going to be out and now they're both out. Oh dear. Oh dear. That's not good. Oh dear. Young has retired, so we've got quite a few retirements now. I've lost count the amount of retirements. I think we're down to 11 cars. Diniz is in 9th. Frenson's in 8th. Alazy is in 7th. Fisichella 6th. Panis 5th. Matsukane 4th. I don't actually know where Hakkinen is. I think he's turned 7. So what lap times are they doing compared to the leaders? They're doing 1:39.4, so 4 seconds a lap slower than the leaders. That was the fastest lap was. Not much quicker than the lap times they were doing in the wet, to be honest. Heavy braking round the bottom of the course. Turn 4, very awkward corner. There's a lot of runoff, but you don't want to go into that runoff. Turn 5 is quite quick into the trees. And it's turn 6, 7 chicane. A lot of runoff there. In quick turn 8. And then turn 9 and 10. Another really awkward. Oh, there's Hackerdon. He's at the turn 9, 10 chicane. And then round the long turn 11 towards turns 12 and 13. Quick chicane here. We're now coming towards the end of the lap. Panis looking to the inside of Mazzacane. Going towards turn 30 and 40. Panis going to try and make the move on his teammate. He's gone back into his slipstream. Looked again. Mazzacane is really slow compared to Panis. Panis looking left, looking right, trying to pass him, but he's not able to pass him at the moment. There's Ralf Schumacher. And then the tight turn 16 and 17, the final corner. You don't want to put the power down too early, otherwise you'll end up in that wall. Panis again, coming out of the slipstream, trying to pass Mazzacane, but Mazzacane is going quicker now. He's cut Panis off. It's inevitably frustrating Panis because he's trying to overtake, and Mazzacane is actually catching but these two because these two have heavily fueled. Gear 1. The Jensen Button is in second place at the moment. De La Rosa currently second, sorry, he doesn't lead. Hill is currently in the lead. Up for the gears, gear 4, gear 5. 6 towards 290 kilometers an hour, heavy braking. But taking not the ideal racing line there, he's going to lose a little bit of time. Mazzacane slowly catching him. 22 seconds the gap between De La Rosa and Damon Hill. Damon Hill looks to be under one stop, and he's got quite a significant lead at the moment. But the roles are reversed. De La Rosa and Button will be a lot more lighter than Hill when Hill comes into the pits. The question is though, when is Hill going into the pits? The 1:36.2, he's 3 seconds a lap quicker than De La Rosa at this current stage, so it'll be 25 going on to 26 seconds the gap. That's nearly enough time, I think, to make a pit stop. Might be a 7 to 8 second gap. Into the trees. Towards the chicane. Gear 1, chicane 2. Up through the gears. Accelerating now towards the chicane. A really, really awkward chicane. It's a very high curb there. You do not want to hit that curb, otherwise you will end up spinning. And then down. What's significantly back straight. It runs pretty much parallel to the pit straight. And then through towards the double right-hander. Jordan are getting ready in the pits to service, I presume, Damon Hill. Round the second right. Heavily braking to gear 1. Round this hairpin and into the pit lane. VAR ready in the pits as well. Not sure who it would be for though. Hill going down the pits. There's the VAR. There's the Jordan turning into the Jordan. He's messed that up as well. Like De La Rosa, pitting exactly on lap 12, changing all 4 tyres. Waiting for the fuel hose to go off. De La Rosa is going to retake the lead. Is Button going to retake the lead? Yes, he is. Is Mazzacane going to go past? Yes, he is. So is Fisichella. So is Alazy. So is Fredson. So is Diniz. Panis is the person who's gone into the pit. So Diniz is in 8th. And the gap now is 8 seconds. between 1st and 7th. But Damon Hill has a little bit of clear air. Whether he'll be able to take advantage of that, it remains to be seen. As we look at the little train, Matsukane, Panis, Lazy, Fizzy Keller. Fizzy Keller looks to the inside of Matsukane. Panis is no longer in this train, obviously, because he's pitted. Round the right, towards the right-left chicane. Button started to pull away slightly from Matsukane. De La Rosa's retaken the lead. For how long for? Well, we predict you need about 30 seconds to make a pit stop around this track. It's a long pit lane, So they need 30 seconds over hill. Renault and Arrows are getting ready into the pits. Looks like it's going to be for Lazy and Frenson. We should soon see which of the Renaults pulls into the pits. It is a Lazy that's pulled into the pits. Frenson's also pulled into the pits. Lap 13 out of 24. There goes Hill, there goes Keelford. So it looks to be an awkward pit lane, doesn't it? So Frenson has the advantage of being further up the pit lane. But the question is, can Fisichella come out in front of Frenson? Off goes the fuel hose, and Lazy is having to hold for Frenson. Frenson has jumped at Lazy in the pits. Frenson is back ahead of Jean Lazy. Now where's Panis? He's miles away. How far is miles away? 5 seconds. Panis loses 5 seconds. Frenson is back in 8th. It will soon be 6th when Coulthard pits. No, it will be 7th when Coulthard pits. BAR ready in the pits. Looks like Coulthard's going to try and make a move on Hill. He's going to be brave doing it at the chicane. Oh, this is going to be quick. Oh, they nearly touched it. It's gone really wide. Coulthard's managed to make the move on Damon Hill. There's Diniz. These three are going to pit Matsukane, Fisichella and Diniz. It's going to cause really big confusion in the pits because all Fisichella stay out for another lap. That's actually ideal for them because of where they're positioned in the pit lane. I'm not sure who's in front. Oh, it's BAR that's in front of the Jaguar, and there's the Renault. So it's actually advantaged the BAR because they would have had to have held for both the Renault and the Jaguar, no doubt. The fuel's still going in, and away goes Diniz in front of Gaston Matsukane. And I think they're significantly ahead of the chasing pack. Coulthard is still in the pits. 22 seconds is the gap. Hill's in 4th. Fisichella's yet to pits. Fisichella's going to end up in 4th. So the overcut is working a charm here. But that gap between Hill and Button is not big enough. Hill is looking like he could be favourites to win this race at the moment. Round the double right-hander goes Giancarlo Fisichella. Renault still putting up a good fight in the championship. But there goes Fisichella, lap 15 out of 24. There's significant gaps happening at the moment. But the race has not been decided just yet, because the lead could still change between De La Rosa, Button and Hill. We don't know who is going to be in between. What's for certain though is I think Fisichella is about to become the 4th placed driver. out of the pits goes Fisichella. Waiting to accelerate out of the pits. Away he goes, and he is indeed in 4th place by about 5 seconds. It's about the time that the overcut was working at. So the gap between Hill and Button, 17 seconds at the moment. I reckon they're going to pit in the next couple of laps. There's Jensen Button in 2nd place. De La Rosa leads Hill by 22 seconds. I think he needs another 8 seconds to get in front of Hill. Let's look at all the retirements. Barrichello, our first retirement. Alonso was our 2nd retirement. And Montoya was our 3rd. They all retired in the same spot. Schumacher then blew an engine. Sato got stuck into a gear. Raikkonen was taken out by Schumacher, who had a brake failure. Hakkinen also had a brake failure. And Young, I'm not sure what happened. I think he got stuck in gear as well. Not stuck in gear, brake failure as well. Panis is currently in 11th, last at the moment. Coulthard is in 10th. Sauber of Alazy's 9th. Oh, hang on. Speaking of Webber's in 9th, sorry. Alazy's trying to pass Frentzen quite urgently because a certain Mark Webber is trying to pass Alazy and Webber and Frentzen all vying for 7th place, but Webber's about to go into the pits. Alazy's going down the inside of Frentzen, but Frentzen keeps hold of that 7th place at the moment unless he... Ooh. I think the move is about to be happening though, because Alazy's got a good run off of that corner. He darts over to the left, but it's too quick, that corner is, to make an overtake. Maybe down towards the hairpin. Frentzen's in 7th at the moment, but you could argue it's only a matter of time before Alazy goes past. He's heckling the German in the arrows. Now accelerating through the gears. Oh, Alazy's gone slightly wide. That's how he lost his position to Frentzen in the first place. Through the chicane. Accelerating through. De La Rosa leads the Australian Grand Prix. Alazy looking down the inside of Frentzen, but Alazy still not going to overtake Frentzen at the moment. So Alazy stays in 8th place. Frentzen still in 7th. Alazy looking down the inside. It's going to be brave going around the left right. It's what Coulthard did to Alazy, but Frentzen is more intelligent to not do that. 27 seconds is the gap between De La Rosa and Hill. De La Rosa nearly has the gap required. Button, I don't think, has the gap at the moment. 23 seconds between them two. Going into lap 18. 7 laps to go, including this one. We're still on board with the battle between Alazy and Frentzen. Fisichella is 49 seconds behind De La Rosa. He's got no chance of being on the podium. Fisichella then is Matsakani. Jaguar already in the pits. There's where De La Rosa is. And Jordan already in the pits. Alazy still looking down the inside of Frentzen. Still cannot make the overtake. Alazy. Frentzen's putting the car on the places where he needs to be. Fisichella 4th. Dennis 5th. Matsakane 6th. There's Fisichella. He is 21 seconds behind Damon Hill at the moment. Damon Hill does not need to make a pit stop though. 24 seconds is the gap between Hill and Button. I don't think that's going to be enough. De La Rosa might just have the gap though. The gap is 30 seconds between De La Rosa and Hill. Here is the crunch time. Will the Spaniard get out in front? Up on the jacks. There's Button in the pits as well. Button takes over the race lead by virtue of where Jordan is in the pits. There's De La Rosa coming out of the pit lane. Cannot hear Hill come past though. So look at De La Rosa's more than ahead. There goes Button. Where is Hill? Hill is coming past. There goes Hill. So Hill is in 2nd. De La Rosa is in the lead. And Button is down in 3rd. The championship leader down in 3rd place at the moment. But there is Damon Hill. Pedro De La Rosa leads. Currently. 2.2 seconds the gap. And then 4 seconds the gap between Hill and Jenson Button. Round the left, right. Accelerating down towards the fast chicane. Going through the fast part of the circuit. Damon Hill is in 2nd place at the moment. Jenson Button 3rd. In the Jordan. There's a significant gap to Fisichella in 4th place. Diniz is currently in 5th. Frenson is still ahead of Lazy. Coulthard is in 9th place at the moment. Matsukane is in 5th, by the way. 6th, 5th, 6th, 5th, 6th, 6th. Panis is in 10th. Mark Webber bringing up the rear in 11th place. So we're back on board with Pedro De La Rosa. The final 4 laps. Damon Hill, 2.8 seconds. Looks like De La Rosa is going to win. He'll be the first driver to win 2 in a row this season. But in the standings, that Button's going to have a 13-point lead over De La Rosa. Fisichella's going to jump into 3rd. And then we have... Hill's going to jump into 3rd. Fisichella's going to be in 4th. Lazy, Frenz and Matsukane are all going to be tied on points. And Jordan are going to still be leading. There's not going to be any change in the Constructors' Championship at the moment. But that could all change if a Lazy passes Frenson. If Lazy passes Frenson, Frenson will drop to 6th, but Lazy will be in 4th instead of joint 4th. But he's got 4 laps. He just cannot overtake Frenson at all. We're lap 20 out of 40. There is going to be 4 laps after this for a Lazy to pass Frenson. Accelerating left, then a right. Down the pit straight. First corners. Oh, he's trying to make a move, but it's too quick. It's pretty much the only battle happening on track at the moment. All the other gaps are around 2 to 5 seconds. Webber is 18 seconds behind Panis at the moment. Mark Webber is in 11th place in the Sauber. Braking for the right left, there is De La Rosa going down the pit straight. Yeah, 3 laps to go on this Albert Park circuit in Melbourne, Australia. The street circuit made of public roads going around the park. But unlike most street circuits, it's actually wide enough for people to overtake on. And doesn't really look too much like a street circuit. They moved from Adelaide to Melbourne in 1996, where it has been the home of the Australian Grand Prix since. We are in season 4 of the Formula 1 Championship. We've had 3 different drivers' title winners, 3 different constructor winners. And while the constructors doesn't look like it's going to have a 4th winner, the drivers look like they're going to have a 4th different constructor winner at the moment. Frentzen still dispersing the pressure that Alesi is putting on the German. Still making sure that Alesi cannot overtake the German in the arrows. The orange, white, red and black arrows. Alesi trying to take many wide lines as possible. Trying to get enough speed to try and make a move on the next corner, but just not able to. He just can't get close enough to be side by side from Frentzen. Frentzen is putting that arrows exactly where he needs to be, exactly on the apex, parking it on the apex, making sure that he cuts Alesi's route off, making sure that he stays in 7th place. De La Rosa leads 4.1 seconds the gap between De La Rosa and Damon Hill. Button is in 3rd place, 3.8 seconds behind the leader, 3.7699, pretty much 3.7 behind Damon Hill. And there's a bit of a gap between Button and Fisichella of about 22 seconds. Matsukane is actually being caught slightly by Frentzen. The gap is 24 seconds between Button and Fisichella. Fisichella's in 4th. Diniz is in 5th. 4.1 seconds between Fisichella and Diniz. Matsukane is in 6th. He's 43 seconds behind. About 7 seconds behind them. 3 seconds behind them is the battle between Frentzen and Alesi for 2 points. An extra point for Alesi. Crawford is in 9th. He's 7 seconds behind this battle at the moment. And Panis and Webber bring up the other 2 positions behind the long list of retirements. We've got 2 laps to go, the penultimate lap of the Australian Grand Prix. As things stand, Button will hold a 13-point lead in the championship over De La Rosa. De La Rosa has managed to come out from the mist of the bottom all the way to 2nd place at the moment. Damon Hill 3rd place, Fisichella's 4th, Alesi, Frentzen and Matsukane all on 34 points in 5th, 6th and 7th. Panis 8th, Schumacher 9th. He was the championship leader. He's not scored since round 3. Coulthard's also on 25 points in 10th. Alonso's in 11th. Diniz 12th. Young 13th. Raikkonen 14th. Webber 15th. Sato 16th. Schumacher 17th. Barrichello 18th. Montoya 19th. And Hakkinen brings up the rear as per usual. Hakkinen doesn't seem to be doing rather well ever. As we come on to the final lap of the Australian Grand Prix, Alesi and Frentzen still battling it out for them 2 points down the pit straight. We're on board now with Pedro de la Rosa. He was absolutely unstoppable in Malaysia. And in Australia, he had a little bit of threat from Jenson Button. He didn't even qualify in pole position to De La Rosa. But he has done something that no one has managed to do this season, and that is to win back-to-back Grand Prix. He'll become the 3rd driver to win 2 races this season alongside Matsukane and Michael Schumacher. So as he goes round the final corner to take the delight of the Australian crowd, Pedro de la Rosa wins the Australian Grand Prix.
De La Rosa has won the race.
2nd place is Damon Hill, and 3rd will be Jenson Button.
Has finished 3rd.
Fisichella, I presume, will come in 4th. There is Fisichella in the Renault. He just stayed behind Panis and BAR and being Matsukane and just managed to eke out. There's the battle still. Frentzen is still ahead of Alesi at the moment. Going around the final 2 corners is now do and die for Alesi. Fisichella finishes in 4th. Diniz will be in 5th. Matsukane in 6th. It's going to be Frentzen in 7th now. Frentzen has managed to keep a lazy behind him all race. 2.2 seconds was the gap in the end between 7th and 8th. Coulthard will finish in 9th. Panis in 10th. And Mark Webber will finish in 11th place. As we are on board with Pedro de la Rosa as he goes into Parc Fermé. Your race winner for the Australian Grand Prix, Pedro de la Rosa. Your Season 1 champion. Maybe, just maybe, we have a battle for the final, ready for the finale in Germany. Who knows? Hopefully we do have a battle for Germany, because we have every single season, well, season 2 and season 3 had a battle in the final round. Not for the constructors. The constructors has been finalised quite so often in the previous round. Twice has been previous round. But this season's different. This season we've got one extra race. We're going to Germany next for the Hockenheim Ring. Where we'll be hopefully in for a treat before we go back to France, Manicourt, for a feature race. 40 laps around the French Grand Prix. The crowd favourite. Before we head to Belgium for the Belgian Grand Prix around the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Before we head over back to the Hockenheim Ring at the Hockenheim Oval for the season finale. I hope you've enjoyed this race. I hope you will enjoy the final 4 races. It's going to be a battle between Jordan and Jaguar, no doubt. Hopefully it'll be very, very spicy. But alas, that is it. De La Rosa with the fastest lap of the race. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.